Hi students, let's begin with our lecture, that is disk attachment. So computers access disk storage in two ways. One way is through IO ports, that is also called host attached storage, and this is very common on very small systems. And the second way is through remote host, that is also called network attached storage, and this is in a distributed file system. Let's quickly start with the host attached storage. Host attached storage is storage which is accessed through local IO ports. So our computers or PCs will have their own IO ports, right? Input output ports. So the storage access happens through these ports, and these ports use different technologies. For example, the desktop PC uses the bus architecture, which is also called IDE or ATA, that is integrated drive electronics and advanced technology attachment. So these are the technology used by the desktop PC, and this architecture supports maximum of 2 drives per input output bus. So at the max only 2 drives will be allowed for each IO bus. And some newer systems use SATA technology, that is serial advanced technology attachment. And also some systems uses SCSI, that is small computer system interface, and FCs, that is fiber channels for communications. SCSI is a bus architecture where its physical medium is usually a ribbon cable. So it uses ribbon cable as the physical medium, which has a large number of conductors, like 50 to 68 conductors it will have. And this protocol supports 16 devices on the bus at a time. So SCSI protocol can have 16 devices on its bus, and these devices include one controller card, which is also called SCSI initiator, and this host can have 15 storage devices. This SCSI protocol consists of total 16 devices on the bus, and in that 16 devices, one is the controller card, which is also called SCSI initiator, and remaining 15 are storage devices, which are also called SCSI targets. And each of this target will have the ability to address up to 8 logical units. So each of them can target up to 8 logical units. It means 8 disks attached to the device controller. And the second technology is FC, that is fiber channel. It is a high-speed serial architecture. High-speed serial architecture, not parallel architecture. It is serial architecture which operates over optical fiber. That's why it is named as fiber channel. It operates over optical fiber or over a 4 conductor copper cable. 4 conductor copper cable, and it has two variants. The first variant is a large switched fabric which has 24-bit address space. And this variant is expected to dominate in the future. So it is going to be the dominating technology. And it is also the basis for storage area networks. Okay. Storage area network is discussed in the next section. And because of its large address space, multiple host and storage devices can attach to the fabric. So since it has the very huge address space, huge number of hosts and storage devices can be attached to the fabric. And the second variant of FC is arbitrated loop. It is also called FCAL, arbitrated loop. And this can address up to 126 devices, means at a time it can have 126 devices attached to it. This 126 devices includes both drives and controllers. Okay. And the second type of disk attachment is network attached storage. Network attached storage, which is also called NAS. It is a device which is a special purpose storage system which is accessed remotely over a data network. It means that it is a special purpose storage system and it is located somewhere else. So sitting at home, I can store or access my information which is stored in some other system. So it is basically a remote system. So through my laptop I can access or I can fetch or store the information in network attached storage system. So this accessing happens through data network. So in case of NAS, network is very important. Whereas in case of host attached storage, network was not used, data network was not used. But in case of NAS, data network plays a very important role. Here clients can access network attached storage through remote procedure calls, that is RPC interface. And these RPCs are carried via TCP or UDP. TCP is connection oriented, whereas UDP is connectionless protocol. So we can access network attached storage over TCP or UDP protocols. And in order to have the communication, we need either local area network or wide area network. So these clients can communicate with or can access the information stored in NAS devices over LAN or WAN. So the data exchange happens through the network, local area network or wide area network. And these NAS units are usually implemented as a RAID array with software that implements RPC interface. And it also uses the latest technology which is called ISC-SI, that is Integrated Small Computer System Interface. Thus, the networks rather than SCSI cables can be used. So instead of using the SCSI cables, we can use the networks for the interconnection between host and their storage. So if I want to interconnect client and the storage devices, that is NAS, I can use LAN or WAN networks instead of SCSI cables. Therefore, these clients assumes that the information is being stored or is being fetched from their own storage space, even though it is not stored in their storage space. The storage or the information is getting stored in the system which is located somewhere else, but these clients assumes that it is getting stored in their own storage space. So host can treat their storage as if it were directly attached, but actually the storage is at somewhere else. It is distant from the host. And the third type, which is a variant of NAS, is called storage area network. Why storage area network is used when we already have NAS? One of the drawbacks of NAS is the storage IO operations consume bandwidth on the data network. We have seen that whenever we want to fetch some information from the Google Drive, or if you want to upload any information to the Google Drive, it consumes bandwidth, right? It takes some time, thereby increasing the latency of network communication. What is the latency of network communication? Latency is nothing but the time required to store and fetch the information. What is the time required? That is the latency. So this problem can be very large for the large client and server networks. As the network increases, the latency can also increase. That's why storage area network was introduced. What is storage area network? It is a private network which connects servers and storage units as shown in the figure. You can see that we have a SAN network to connect storage arrays and the servers. And also these servers and clients can communicate over LAN or WAN. That is, this part can be, this part can be our NAS. But you can observe that this whole thing can communicate with these storage arrays over storage area network. So here multiple hosts and multiple storage arrays can attach to the same SAN, whereas in NAS we had only one device, we had only one storage system, but here we have multiple storage devices which are connected to the same storage area network. So here multiple storage arrays and multiple hosts can attach to the same network. And also storage can be dynamically allocated to the host. and SAN switch has the ability to allow or prohibit the access between the host and the storage. So there is a SAN switch which allows or prohibits the access between the host and the storage. If a host is running low on any disk space, if a particular host is not having enough space, then SAN can be configured to allocate more storage to that host. So if any host is running out of disk space, then SAN will interfere to allocate more storage space to that host. Therefore, SANs make it possible for clusters of servers, clusters in the sense group of servers, to share the same storage and for storage arrays to include multiple direct host connections. So in case of SANs, there are large number of ports available and these are less expensive. Here the technology used is FC. FC is the most common SAN interconnect. So in order for the communication to happen, the channel or the technology used is fiber channel. So in the next lecture we are going to study different disk scheduling algorithms.